Was it like a let's try, or was it just a?
But the thing is, it wasn't a situation where we're trying.
Yeah.
But then, I guess at the same time, it's like you're not trying. You're not trying. You're not trying to avoid it. At the same time, you know, it was a bit irresponsible, but that's what it was at the time. It's a blessing at the end of the day. Not everyone gets that blessing. So for me to get rid of that blessing, I just felt like it wasn't the right thing to do. So I knew, me personally, I knew from the moment she said it, actually, I want to go through with it. It is very easy to be made to feel as if my role is about 20% in this. I don't really need to. A lot of people, when their missus have a child, things, you know, their missus change a bit for a certain period, but they deem that period as, oh, this is how it's going to go on for when that's not necessarily the case.
Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to episode 6 of season 2 of Figuring Out Fatherhood. On today's episode, I'm here with Prince, rapper, songwriter, businessman. Tell us about yourself, Prince, please.
Yeah, man, I'm 30 years old. I rap, I songwrite. Obviously, I work, got kids to feed, you know what I mean, bills to pay, kids to raise, so I work as well. And me and the missus just run a business on the side.
I love that. Where can they find your music, first of all?
Music, that's all on my page. If you go on my Instagram page or Twitter page, at My Soul's Golden on everything, there's links there that will point you in the right direction and everything.
My Soul's Golden, or My Soul is Golden?
My Soul's Golden.
Okay, so, My Soul's Golden. Yeah, cool. Let's get right to it, man. So Prince, today I want you to talk us through your entire journey. You've got 2 kids?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to talk us through the entire journey. So right from when you were dating your missus or whatever happened up until present day. Talk through the entire thing. Yeah,
to be honest, my situation is, when I talk to a few of my friends, it's quite ideal. Okay. I met my missus I met her in a lift in uni. You know
and you shot your shot straight away?
Literally.
You have to.
Back in the day before all the that stuff, do you get what I mean? So I met her in a lift at uni, spoke to her, you know, we liked each other's vibe, started dating from there. I went to a different uni, so we weren't seeing each other as much, but still kept in contact. And then after uni, we just took it more serious. And then about probably 6 years into the relationship, she got pregnant.
Let's pause right there. Was this a conversation you had prior to her getting? Was it like a let's try, or was it just a?
But the thing is, it wasn't a situation where we're trying.
Yeah.
But then, I guess at the same time, it's like you're not trying. You're not trying. You're not trying to avoid it. At the same time, you know, it was a bit irresponsible, but that's what it was at the time. So we weren't trying, but that did happen, and it was just one of those situations where, obviously, everyone has their first panics and scares at first, like I don't want to do this, or I'm not sure, we're not ready. This isn't how I planned stuff. But you know, when you talk things through, if you think that no, we can make it work, this is the right thing to do, then.
So my question for you, as the father in the situation, were you the one panicking, or was she the one panicking, or did you both panic as a collective? Or talk us through how you felt when she told you she was pregnant.
Do you know what? I was with a few friends. Okay. I was at my boy's house, just probably doing stuff, whatever. Anyway, and she sent me a text message, and you know, it's like everyone's life is continuing, but yours is just stopped for a second. So I'm just looking at my phone. I'm like, I'm feeling a pause in my head open up. I'm thinking, wait, is that? Before I've even had a chance to kind of react and like gather my feelings, she's already expressed how like worried she is, how scared she is, how like this isn't how she planned it, like not this year, So obviously I felt like, okay, it's my duty. Let me first calm her down, relax her, because I don't want her to do anything hasty or to, do you know what I mean, go into a mind state that is not conducive for that kind of situation. So yeah, my first thought was, let me calm her down, relax her, just let her know. It's not like you just went out and had a one-night stand. Do you know what I mean? We've been together for a while. Yeah. Eventually we was going to do this anyway. So let's just sit down and think, can it work? And how we can go forward with it. And she heard me out. She was like, she calmed down a bit. And then after that, it was just figuring out, okay, can we? And I'm pro-life. you could say, I guess. I'm not really on this terminating because I just feel like, you know, if it's a blessing at the end of the day. Not everyone gets that blessing. So for me to get rid of that blessing, I just felt like it wasn't the right thing to do. So I knew from the moment she said it, actually, I want to go through it.
Okay, that's amazing.
You know what I mean? And yeah, it wasn't really a convincing situation. It was just expressing how I felt. And when it came down to it, she felt the same way.
I love that. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
That's how the first one came.
You know what? Now I understand why you said the situation was ideal, because your dots were just aligned and it worked out. Yeah.
And also, like it doesn't. It helps that our parents, her mum and my mum, were both like, they were both celebrating. They were like, "What? Okay. Oh yes, finally! Yeah, they were happy. Like, when's this? When's that?" So it didn't feel like, do you know what I mean? All the worry and all of that was. It just felt more internal and just like.
So let's talk through the pregnancy. Smooth sailing. You lot were cool throughout the time. Did anything change? Did you ever at any point think to yourself, "Right, you're moving a bit mad here"? Like anything happened? Talk us through the pregnancy.
To be honest, the pregnancy part. It was all right. My change was more after the birth, if you know what I mean. During the pregnancy, because again, I'm taking the backseat, I'm your supporter, I'm the one just, you know what I mean? I'm thinking I can't really ruffle feathers too much, or I don't want to hinder anything that can cause any stress or any complications in terms of the baby, because that would be something I won't be able to forgive myself for. So throughout that, it was pretty smooth sailing. Obviously, there's a few hiccups, just health wise, you know. But other than that, in terms of our relationship, me and the mother of my child, it was smooth sailing because we had an understanding. She knew that I'm gonna go and do the things that need to be done just to help keep her in the right mind frame. You know, so it's more after the pregnancy when it's like, oh, okay, I can put these bags down now.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, you got to pick them back up. That's where things started changing a bit. You know?
Okay, so we know that body changes, things remain calm between you two. So how were you able to do that? How were you able to make sure that your relationship remained calm? There was no hiccups, there was no fallouts? Because I've spoken to different men who've said to me that, you know what, during the pregnancy, they felt neglected, they felt unloved, they were secondary. Some of them felt like they weren't needed. Well, so there were so many different things that different people felt.
I feel like the main thing, obviously I had to learn this as well. I wasn't just born knowing this, but the main thing, everyone says it, but it's the truth. It is communication. But it's not just saying, oh, I want this, I like that. Communication is not what you're just saying, it's how you're saying it as well, and understanding who you're saying it to. How you give it a message might not be the way someone likes to receive a message. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's just learning those kind of things, learning how to speak to someone, learning, okay, they like this, they don't like that. When this happens, things go like that, and expressing it. Like, don't be shy, don't be scared to tell your missus. Like, even if it's something you feel like, that's not manly, but I don't want her to think. What kind of because at the end of the day, it's gonna have an effect, and you're gonna regret me not expressing it earlier. If that makes sense. So in my situation, it was just a thing where I felt like, okay, I've got to express how I feel at certain points. Obviously, not planning when I'm saying it as well. I'm not just, I'm seeing her, she's a bit down. I'm not gonna be like, hey man, why don't you touch me anymore? Why don't we? Do you know what I mean?
It's facts. Do
you know what I mean? There's ways to go about things, but obviously everyone is individual. You have to learn your partner and how they like to receive things. So that my advice would just be communication, because that's what worked for me.
Okay.
In terms of just expressing, this is how I feel. If she loves you and she wants to be with you, she's not going to ignore that. She's going to listen to that, take it on board, and process
I love that. Yeah. Okay, so moving forward, that's the pregnancy. So the baby was born. You thought like your work was done, or to a certain extent, but it wasn't. What changed? What?
When you said the neglect part, that's probably where that kind of comes in, because it's like, all right, these things on my chest ain't for you. No more. This is for feeding. Do you get what I mean? This is for feeding the child. Like when we got alone time, or when like if the baby's sleeping or something, it's not time for me and you. This is time for me to get my rest. So it was hard for me to like understand those things, because I was thinking,
it's go time.
Because it goes from me and you. It was me and you. Do you get what I mean? It was a team. And this baby's coming. Yeah, they've joined the team, but remember, don't forget, it's still me and you. But that kind of goes away. You feel like when you're a kid and you're in school and a new kid comes in and they take your best friend.
It's
kind of that kind of.
That's a good analogy, actually.
And then you don't know how to. You're thinking you're looking at the baby like they're up or something. But at the same time, it's your child. You know what I mean? So there's that part, but obviously, again, that's something you probably have to go and understand for yourself, because I feel it's rare the female's going to tell you that, listen, babes, I'm going through this and that now. So on days you're going to get this from me. I think that's a bit rare. So that's a bit of something a man's got to go and find out for himself when your missus is pregnant or having a baby. What to expect and how to deal with it.
Because, I love that.
Because a lot of people, when their missus have a child, things, their missus change a bit for a certain period, but they deem that period as, this is how it's going to go on forever, when that's not necessarily the case. Do you know what I mean? So, there was that feeling of a bit of neglect, and also there's the whole, the baby. Obviously, it's our baby, but there's certain times when it feels like it's your baby. That makes sense.
No, it does.
Like, I'm sure 9 out of 10 fathers have had that scenario where the baby's crying and the mum just says, just give her to me, or just give it to me. And you're like, right, hold on a minute, do you get what I mean? So, there's that whole feeling. Not to go off.
How did you navigate that?
That one there is, I actually don't know, man. I don't know how I got through that. That was, it's just a confidence thing, knowing that, wait, no, I am the dad, I'm good enough, I can do things as well. It's 50-50, I'm just as important. Because it is very easy to be made to feel as if my role is about 20% in this. I don't really need to. Do you know what I mean? I'll give you an example. When my first daughter was born, me and my partner agreed that we'd go to my mum's house after the birth, just for a few weeks, just to, for extra support. My mum was someone that she's very good with babies, and she was available, had the time and everything like that. And obviously where we were staying, we would be alone. We weren't close to any support systems. But then when we did have our first child, the next day, her mum came and said, you know what? Nah, we're going back to mine.
Okay.
This is what's happening. And obviously where her mum lives is a bit further away from where my mum lives, where we live, where my work is, all of that. So you can imagine how it felt like, okay, my daughter was born a couple of days ago. I finished work today. I want to go see her. And it's like, I've got to take a train, hour and a half journey to the next area, get to the house. And it's just all like her aunties and mums everywhere. I'm waiting for my chance to hold my daughter. My chance comes to hold my daughter. My daughter's crying. Everyone's like, do you know what? Yeah, just give her back to the mum. You know, from that scenario, that situation, I could have easily felt like, do you know what? No, they got this, man. I'll just come here after work every now and again. But I knew in my mind that this is going to go down a road I don't want it to go. So I need to nip it in the butt from this point.
Facts.
So it was a bit hard, because it was like, okay, I know your mom's there, she's got a support system, but we could compromise. We come to a place where we have no mums again, and when we need the support, we can get them to come. If they really want to support us, they can come and support us. And by doing that, that helped me be way more involved with bringing up my daughter, like giving her first baths and late in the middle of the night feeds and all of that. Because if I didn't do that, I probably would have missed a lot of that. Probably wouldn't have had the same attachment. Probably would have taken way more of a backseat. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? But that's how I feel that I had to navigate through that situation.
And how old was your daughter when you found out your missus was pregnant for the second child? How many years had it been?
1.5.
You didn't waste no time, did you?
So you got struck by the eye as well.
I hear that. Okay, so talk to me. So what were you doing when she told you she's pregnant for a second child, and how did you react? What was your first initial thought? What did you think? How did you feel?
Well, this time I was at work.
Okay.
I was working, and I got a text. And this time, I kind of had the opposite feel than the first time, because I was in a situation where I was in a job I wasn't really enjoying. We're living in a place that we needed a bigger place already. And it just felt like things weren't aligning as quick as I wanted them to. Do you know what I mean? So then for her to text me again and say, by the way, it's doubling down.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at my phone like, why did you? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't lie. I was not upset, but I was definitely moody that day. I didn't even reply to her when she sent me the text. I just acted like, all right.
There's a word I'm thinking of, and you're rattled.
Yeah,
she rattled.
I was off my square. You know what I mean? I wasn't there, innit? I was rattled. Only that I texted my mum in that same hour, and she came down from wherever she was to see me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, she took me out for a drink, and like my mum was again very supportive, excited, enthusiastic. It kind of eased my nerves, and my missus as well. She was all for it. She was like, "Oh yeah, no, daughter needs a companion. Yeah, this is ideal. Like, it's a good time for it, all of that." So it made it easy for me.
Okay, so you were rattled. Your mum, your missus, they supported you through it. Yeah. At what point did the switch over happen where it became a situation where I'm looking forward to this? I'm excited to be having a second child.
It became that situation when you start visiting like the midwife, and you start you start seeing the pictures. For me, probably when I found out, when I first saw the picture, I found out the sex, and that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to do this again, because it kind of just kicked in like there's life there. You know what I mean? This is, again, it's your calling. This is what you got to do. I believe a lot in like destiny, calling, and things falling into place. And I feel like if that's been put there, that's what I have to do. So that's how I felt. So yeah, from when I saw the picture, it's gonna be a girl. Yeah, all right.
Okay,
I'm for it.
And what changed for you to accommodate for the fact that you're having a second child? You navigated the first. You made it through, beautiful. You were having a second. You were in a situation where you're actually happy at work, and things in life weren't going as you wanted them to. Shall I say? So, what changes did you make to accommodate for the fact that you had a second child? Like, what did you change?
Obviously, as a man, there comes that point where you have to take responsibility.
Facts.
You know what I mean? As I told you, I do music. Obviously, I do music, but I'm not 21 with a dream. Do you get what I mean? I'm an adult that's got children that. At the end of the day, they need to eat, they need to go to a good school, they need to be dressed, they need to have extracurricular activities, you know what I mean? So in order to fund that right now, I've got to look for my best option. So having my second child just made me think, okay, well, when my missus was pregnant with my second child, I should say, just made me think, all right, I need to buckle down, get a more secure job, something that brings in a bit more income and whatnot. We even moved back to my mum's for a bit, left our place for a bit, moved back to my mum's just to save up and everything. Yeah, that's what changed really. I just had to change my job situation. But yeah, it wasn't as easy as I'm making it sound. It wasn't just something simple. Okay, go home, apply for this. It definitely took a lot of, do you get what I mean, determination and just not giving up, because it's hard when you have your own passion, you have a dream, you got your own thing that you want to do, and it might not be, you might not be reaping all the fruits from it at the moment, but you know, like, oh, in future I will. But right now we need to reap fruits, so it's like, okay, yeah, that's a nice 16, but that's not rice. Do you know what I mean?
Facts.
So it was a situation of That's what I should say. Putting my pride to the side. Putting my pride and ego to the side for a minute to do what's best for the family.
Okay. So you just mentioned pride and ego, right? Pride and ego in this scenario, for me, I'm hearing two things that are calling out to me. The first thing is, obviously, you've had to put your passion to the side. The second thing is, did you feel like less of a man? Did you feel like, you know what, I have to move back to my mum's, I'm not where I want to be financially, etc. Did that ever get you down at any point in time?
Yeah, I'll be lying if I said it didn't. Of course it did. I told you I was with my missus prior to having my child about 6 years, 5 years. And I'm African, she's African as well. So you can imagine the pressures from my parents. Like, when will you marry? What's going on?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What does this boy do? Where is he working? Now you have a child, those questions just intensify.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So of course I felt that pressure from her mom and her dad. Do you know what? And it doesn't help, like she might have cousins or friends that are we're getting married.
Oh,
all of that. So that pressure was there, definitely. But again, the communication, you gotta know your partner and know yourself. If you haven't got plans in place, that's obviously that's something you need to express so that you and your partner can work out something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you do have a plan in place and you keep expressing it every step of the way, look, okay, we're not there yet, but next month we're gonna be here, and then by then we'll be there. And if they're seeing that month has come and you are there, do you know what I mean? They're seeing, okay, what he's saying, there's some truth to what he's saying, like you can rely on what he's saying. And also when they go back to talk to their parents or their friends or whatever, it's not just a situation where their parents are just shading you, like, what does he do? They're defending you, they're letting their parents know, no, actually, do you know what? This is actually happening. This is going on behind the scenes, if you didn't know, whatnot. So yeah, the communication, letting them know if you do have a plan, what the plan is. And if you don't, still, I'll even if I was in a situation where I didn't have things in order or a plan, I'll still come to my missus and say, listen, babes, I actually don't know what to do. It's like, what can we do? Do you know what I mean? And like I said, if she is there, like, if she's someone that really wants to be in this, she wants to figure out for you as well. She doesn't want to see, do you know what I mean? She's not going to just be like, well, your thing's in order. All right, cool. Let me holler. Do you know what? She wants to, because at the end of the day, she wants to have this family. She wants to be married with you, the father of her child. She wants all of that whole dream. So if you're giving her, situations and plans where it can actually happen, she's going to be all for it, as long as she knows that, okay, that is the end goal, that is what's going to happen. And that was what happened. So like you said, I did feel less of a man. You know, confidence can go a bit low, but you have to just stay in a positive mind state, or else the only thing that will happen is you'll just spiral into a worse situation if you allow it to consume you. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just had to just stay focused, stay positive, let her know what my plans are every step of the way. Put the pride, like I said before, put the pride to the side, because pride will make you like, okay, I'm not gonna tell her yet. I'm gonna wait until I got my money up, then I'm gonna tell her. But sometimes that might be too late. Do you know what I mean? Put your pride to the side. Let her know this is what's going on. This is what's happening. If she's not there for it, then you probably dodged the bullet yourself. Yeah,
true.
You know,
that's a fair point. Yeah, you know, I'm so happy I asked you to come on, right? Because I had deep down inside, because I followed you on Twitter for a while, and I've noticed that from before you had a child, I followed you before you had your first child and the second, and I love the fact that you stayed consistent. Like, you've always loved her openly. You've always chosen her. You haven't hidden that, and I think it's beautiful for people to see that black men actually do this stuff. But looking back on your first child, right? What would you do differently? What would you change? What would you change about this scenario? What would you change about the circumstances behind you having a child? Is there anything you'd do differently?
I definitely would have looked into it more in terms of postnatal depression, things like that. I would have looked into more of how the woman's mind and body changes after, because everything apart from that, I was pretty much fine with, but I was very naive to what happens after you have a baby. You know, I was very naive. I was just thinking that everything goes back to normal.
What was the biggest surprise? What was the biggest surprise? What shocked you the most?
The biggest surprise. Can I even say it on camera? Boy, I guess you could guess what that surprise was. The biggest surprise to me, actually, in seriousness, was the change of the mother of my child, because it just felt like, right, I'm a second-class citizen in this house now, and that was a big surprise for me, because it just always felt like we were shoulder to shoulder. We were, do you get what I mean? And obviously, I'm not a fool. I understand there's a baby here. Do you know what I mean? But it just felt like, right, like hello, like, and that was all the way from from the hospital to the baby's a few months old. Then it felt like I'm noticed again. You know, because from the hospital, it's kind of like even the doctors and nurses are preparing you for it. Like they don't see you. They're just like, really? You stand over there in that corner, move out of the way. Like, who are you? All of that. Do you get what I mean? So it almost felt like they were prepping you for this. And then when you go home, it's like, yep, her and the baby, me and the baby, me and the baby. What? You're just like, hello.
How long did it take for things to get back to, I say normal, how long did it take for things to get back to being you three now, as opposed to just them two? When did you stop feeling like an outsider, basically?
Well, the thing is, for my situation, it actually took a couple of years, because as soon as it was almost getting to that, she was pregnant again. So I'm there again, your biggest cheerleader. I'm back again, taking the backseat. So it's like I never left the back. I never got a chance to come back into shotgun. Do you get what I mean? I stayed in the backseat for an extra year. So then I would say it was when my second daughter was about 8 months old, because like I said, we went back to my mum's and there was a lot of support there. So we had a lot of time to ourselves again. You know, we could go out on dates and go to the cinema or to the park or whatever. So about when my second daughter was 8 months old, when my first daughter was about 2 years old.
So it took 2 years?
That's when I felt like, it's back to us again.
Yeah.
Like when it you know, days when we're like, oh yeah, let's drop the kids. Like, do you know what I mean? When it's like the kids are a hindrance to us today. That's that. Like it took about 2 years to feel like that again. But maybe it would have been sooner if I had a support system very close to me. Sooner.
Okay. Yeah.
So if I was living with my mum with my first child and we were able to go and have our own time, it might have felt like it's back to normal sooner.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And this is just a question for me. So you had 2 kids in the space of a year and a half, right? Would you do it again?
Would I do that? What, 2 kids again?
Like, say you went back to Prince of 7-8 years ago.
Nah, definitely.
And you had the option to choose.
Finish it. Nah, definitely not.
Really?
Not. I would definitely space it out a bit more. Don't get me wrong. I don't regret having another child. I love it. I even want a third, but I would definitely space it out a bit more just to.
Why is that?
Because it felt like it's hard to give two children around the same age the same love and attention. Because by the time my second daughter was born, my first daughter is still a baby. So she doesn't understand putting you down to pick someone else up. Yeah. And that hurt. Obviously, it's principle, but that hurts. I don't seeing her upset because I'm picking up the other baby, or she just doesn't understand why she has to share things, or like maybe we just don't have enough time to go to this thing for this baby because we're focusing on the newborn. Yeah. And everyone's coming to look at the newborn, and some people have never even seen my first daughter come to say hi to the newborn. It just felt a bit like I should have given.
It's interesting you say, it's interesting you say that, because there's this ongoing debate, and it's to do with, there are people, I don't know if they're parents, or people who say things like, have your kids close in age together so that they have playmates.
Yeah, I understand that. I just feel like it could be a little bit further apart than a year and a half. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that I could just leave them to themselves and they'll entertain each other. But it could be the gap could be a bit more and they'll be fine, I'm sure. I'm sure a 2-3 year gap, they'll still play with each other.
Okay, now the second pregnancy, is there anything you change? Or is there anything you do differently? Or do you feel like you were prepped for that?
Second pregnancy was definitely different. Hands-on. Everything was hands-on. Okay, we know this and that by that day. We know we got to see this person. We know we want to be here. We know everything was like, there was no moms involved or anything. It was literally just me and her.
Yeah.
And that pregnancy was, it was a bit more difficult because I have a toddler during this pregnancy, so it's like I'm looking after two people. But now that one was it was more patterned. Nothing felt out of place really, because I knew what to expect. Even though birth is always going to be different, but in terms of like the pregnancy, I kind of knew what to expect, when this is going to happen, and how she behaves during the pregnancy, and what I need to do and everything. So the second pregnancy, it was actually smooth sailing, to be honest.
Yeah, I love that. Now let's talk about life as a dad of two, specifically the pandemic.
Yeah.
The first lockdown. How old was your second by then?
She was 4.
Your second child was 4.
My second child.
Second child, yeah.
Sorry, my second child.
When the pandemic, 2020, she was 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so pandemic's come in, everything's locked off. It's you, your missus, 2 kids in the house. Talk us through that entire thing.
Now, this is the thing is, my work. The pandemic doesn't stop my work.
Oh, okay, so you were still at the house.
So I'm front line. I'm still outside working. So I get to leave the house and get my peace, whereas my missus is stuck on the computer between 9 and 5, and then has to deal with the children. So I can see how the effect it had on her. It's like a never-ending cycle. It's like a loop, if that makes sense. It's like the kids are just running around her while she's on the computer, finishes work, bath and feed the kids. I come home just in time to put them to bed. We start again. So the pandemic was definitely something where I consciously had to make an effort of consciously making an effort of just lifting my own weight as well, and a bit more, because obviously it's not fair that she's at home all day with the kids, and even though like she's working from home, you know, some people see it as, I don't have to go into the office and that, but to a lot of people that's their getaway, especially if you have children, because people think when you have children that you have a baby, you just love them straight away, you want to be with them 24/7. As much as you love them, that's not the case. Every human being is like accustomed to having like wanting their own alone time, their own time to process their thoughts and just, do you know what I mean? Just unwind or whatever it is you want to do. And whereas she's at home 24/7 with the kids, it's like she never ever got those opportunities. So it's like now I've got to make the effort to, in these days when I'm off, take the kids away from her, like out. Because that's where you get a lot of situations where the mum or whatever parent it is starting to have a negative relationship with the child, and then you're walking in because you haven't been in all day, and you're always seeing it like, what's going on? No, don't worry, that's fine. I don't know what your mum's like, and you're not processing that she's been dealing with this all day, and it's not something that you can just easily, like, everyone's threshold is different. Do you know what I mean? So that's something I had to consciously like come in and say, all right, how you doing, babe? Do you need some alone time? Like, do you need, like, I'm going to take the kids for the day here or whatnot. So during the pandemic, that was just the main thing. Because they're kids, they're active, they got so much energy. They're running up and down the house, so you got to find a way to make them use that energy. Yeah. And that was just the main thing. Just getting the kids to use their energy and making sure she still has some alone time, because that little commute on the train, she doesn't get that anymore. That little walking into Costa, getting your coffee and all of that. She doesn't get that anymore. So it was just, that was the main thing, really.
Mm-hmm. And financially as well, how's 2 kids? I can only imagine.
Yeah, financially, to be fair, it was actually all right. I had nothing to complain about because obviously at first it was a lot of breastfeeding and the nappies and milk. Because it wasn't like I had a baby, then a couple of years later I had a baby. I had a baby, then I had a baby. So I had all my supplies still ongoing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The expenses come more into this age now. I'd say, Daddy, I want to do ballet. Daddy, I want to do art. Daddy, and you know, as a parent, you want to encourage your kid. Anything they say, you want to do that? Okay, listen. Especially in this day and age, you don't know. You could be raising Serena Williams or something. So,
big facts.
Yeah,
big facts.
You want to do that? All right, cool. Let's see it and do it. And yeah, that's where the expenses come in. And you know, like just like where you go to Foot Locker or JD and you see those J's or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, let me grab those. Now it's like, all right. I can't just grab these £130. I got to add on these ones as well for the kids. Because now where your trainers shopping was like £130, it's like $230 or something like. Do you know what I mean? So this thing's like, just normal everyday life things because you're considering other people. It's like this meal. I'm not just shopping for myself to eat. I'm shopping for others to eat. So yeah, financially it's just about. Yeah, it was tough. Sorry, there's no way around it. I was thinking that, has it been hard? Nah, it's definitely been tough.
Nursery?
Nursery. That was tough because, see, I'll tell you something. At first, with my first daughter, my mum advised me, Montessori nursery. Until Montessori nursery, whatnot. So we got her into one.
Isn't that a bit more expensive than
So we decided to pay a bit more. It's a bit more expensive. But I think this is probably just maybe a black parent's problem. The nursery she was in, she was the only black child there.
Okay.
Literally, the only black child, not in the class.
In the time.
How did
that make you feel?
So at first I thought, okay, maybe like she can maneuver through it. Maybe it's alright. I used to tell my missus she's got cousins, she's got I've got younger brothers and sisters. She sees us all the time, you know. Until one day she actually came home and said, Daddy, I want to be white.
Okay.
Yeah. So now that with her saying that statement, me, I'm a quite pro-black, and I'm very vocal about it as well. So that kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, wow, I need to consider everything now. Like, is it even the school? Is it me? Like, what's going on? So obviously looking at that, I started questioning her more every day, like what's going on. And I realized when she's talking about the friends, oh, this person's got that skin, like, oh, wow, how comes I don't? And then I'm realizing it's an understanding. She doesn't, she's young, she's a toddler. She doesn't understand that. Oh, why is that person like that? And I'm like this. Like, why am I the only person like this? This doesn't make sense to me. So I had to explain to her, you know, like, just depending on where you are, like, if you was in our country, like, oh, you wouldn't see anybody. Like, you know what I mean? But myself, personally, I took her out of that nursery.
Okay.
Yeah, and I put her into that was after the nursery when she went into reception. Sorry, I put her into normal local school that's not far from us. That's a good school as well. That's a bit more multicultural, just because I feel like as much as it's important for them to get the academic side of school, there's a lot of other things in school that you learn that is not from a book, if that makes sense. Like going into certain spaces and knowing how to talk to people isn't learned from a book. That's learned because you was in school and you rubbed shoulders with people from this culture, that culture, that culture. So that was very important to me. But in terms of the nursery, the Montessori nursery fees, that was killer, but I was definitely in a good position to pay that at the time.
Oh, I love that.
But in terms of second daughter, we just put her in the nursery that the school she's gonna go to. So, just skipping the whole Montessori stage in terms of that. In terms of my second daughter, school is it's a whole different topic there, but it's very important. I feel what school they're in, the area it's in, the kind of people that are in there.
I agree 100%. But in the sake of time, we're going to start wrapping up. So I want to know, if someone said to you, they want to put a child in a Montessori school, would you recommend it? Would you be for or against it?
What I would do, I would advise them to just look up the Montessori school you're going to put them in, the area it's in, and just visit the school. They let you visit, they let you have a look at the students who's in there and whatnot. And if you feel it's a fit for your child, then by all means go for it. But only you would know that. Only you would know if this is a good fit for my child. But it's nothing I would tell anyone to turn away from just because of my experience. Because this is just one school in one area.
So what's the difference between a Montessori nursery and a standard nursery? I can't exactly describe what the factual differences are, but from what I saw, and the Montessori nursery, it's definitely more focused. There was about 12 kids in the class. Okay.
Whereas in the nursery my second daughter goes to, there's about 20 plus children in the class. The Montessori was very focused on each child. Like every child would have their own time with the teacher.
Okay.
And they had some extra activities you could do as well, like music and stuff like that. But on paper, I actually don't know I couldn't tell you the exact difference. I was just a guy. I was just following his mom. Mom said, "Yo, do that. That's what's best." I said, "All right."
As we wrap up now, I want to give us some advice. You can advise people going through situations that are similar to yours. They were their missus, she's pregnant. Give us some advice. They were their missus, they have a second child. It's a year and a half. Sorry, they had the first child. It's been a year and a half. They want to have a second. Give some advice. Give us some advice that we could learn from your situations.
My advice is, and it's the same all the time when I talk to all my friends that are fathers, is patience. You need to be patient. You gotta be patient with your missus because when your missus is pregnant, she's bound to change. There's a lot going on inside her body, things that we can't even fathom. So she's gonna change. That's like, if she doesn't change, that's almost weird. Do you hear what I mean? She's gonna change. So you have to be patient. You gotta be a bit knowledgeable. Go and find out stuff. Don't be ignorant. Don't just sit there and think things are gonna fall on your lap. Do you know what I mean? Like, go and find out beforehand. Okay, this is what to expect. This is what to prepare for. And I feel like with those two things, you can't really go wrong. You're patient and you're knowledgeable. And thirdly, just put your pride to the side as well. Put your pride to the side. You know what you want. If you want to have a family and you want to be with your missus for forever, and you want to raise your kids together, then you got to put your pride to the side and just do what's right. Do the right thing. Make sure you cross your T's and dot the I's.
Yeah. That's it. Prince, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you so much for having me as well. Yeah, man.
Alright, until next time.